Good morning, everybody, and thank you for a wonderful introduction. And also thank you to Antinola for actually setting the scene, because we will be talking about Tasmania and the environment and the place. This is a very important event, and quite possibly the most important event that TIA has ever organized. And I want to briefly explain why. Firstly, the purpose of the event is something that we actually do every year. It's part of TIA's engagement with all of its stakeholders. But this year, it has a very different flavor. This year, we very deliberately have targeted our own organization as one of the key stakeholders in order to engage with the broader university to achieve some absolutely amazing outcomes for Tasmania. So why are we doing this now, and why did we invite you? There are many reasons, but the main reasons are, firstly, you might have heard of the Northern Transformation Project that the university is currently going through. It's a new way for our university to engage with the local communities and to build infrastructure that is fit for purpose and that will enable us, here in Launceston, for instance, to deliver really great outcomes for the next 50 years and beyond. The university, our university, has already committed to what we call the green and the blue sciences. These are short and convenient descriptors for research into agriculture, aquaculture, food, the environment, wood science, all these sorts of things that are biologically based. We have a strong and new vision for our university as a place-based university with global relevance. Rufus Black, our new Vice-Chancellor, has already outlined that we will be a networked university. We will not offer the same for everybody, but we will give everybody an equivalent experience that depends on their situation, the place where they are. Today is one step in finding common ground how this might be achieved. This is the why we are doing this. Let me talk about the how. As part of TIA's strategy, we need to attract broad capabilities in order to deliver all of the outcomes that we have promised. In the past, we focused on the needs of agricultural industries and our teaching curriculum when we ran these sorts of events. However, we can't drive innovation at farm and firm level without a really strong and focused research agenda. And it so happens that agriculture and food are very broad topics, and they don't lend themselves to a narrowly defined research agenda. And that causes a bit of a conundrum for us. Interestingly, this has been globally recognized. Over the last 10 years, many countries have developed what's called BioEconomy strategies. And even here in Tasmania, some of the regional councils have already embraced that concept and used that thinking, that future thinking about how does biology, biological concepts, agriculture and food actually drive our economies. They incorporated that into their future directions. So let me very briefly define what it means. And unfortunately, I've only been given 10 minutes by the organizers. Normally, that topic alone is a whole lecture. I mean, that's how universities work. Don't use your whistle. So a very brief definition of what it actually means, a bioeconomy for society. It's about the sustainable production and the use of all biological resources, processes, and principles to provide products and services in all economic sectors for the benefit of people. Making this relevant for Tasmania is a challenge. What does the bioeconomy for society actually mean for Tasmania? There are lots of discussions around that, and there are academic debates of whether bioeconomy is actually the right title, or whether we should call it the circular economy or the green or blue economy, or there are lots of different sort of concepts. They're all variation on a theme. What is important to recognize is that's a concept that's being embraced globally. And it's something that actually puts agriculture and food at the center of our societies, at the center of our economies, and for the benefit for everybody. And I'll talk a little bit about the benefits and the health in a minute. I don't have time to explain it all in detail, but you will find a couple of diagrams in your folders that might help. And I recently showed those and talked about it at a roadshow that I gave. Essentially what it is about, it's about those Sustainable Development Goals. And there are 143 countries around the world who have signed up to those Sustainable Development Goals that globally we want to achieve by 2030. Now there are 17 of them, and when you look at them, every single one of them has a connection with food, with agriculture, with how we use our resources. And the Stockholm Institute for Stockholm Resilience Center has actually clustered those. And on the back of that piece of paper in your folders, you find that cluster, and they clustered it into 3 components: the biosphere, society, and the economy. The bioeconomy for society. And what it highlights is the need to actually have an integrated approach rather than a disciplinary focused approach in order to achieve great outcomes for our economies. And no place is better positioned than Tasmania to actually make use of that concept. So TIA is putting that concept forward as an emerging research cluster for our university under that broader research theme that we already have of environment, resources, and sustainability. And TIA has a strong record in 3 specific areas. The first one is in ag-tech, so the technology-driven aspects of agriculture, the transforming, the breeding, engineering, IT, etc. All of those very knowledge-intensive areas that are currently taking off and that are so important for our farmers, for our agribusinesses, and for our communities to be successful. The second area that TIA is heavily engaged in is all around sustainability, water management, soil management, avoiding problems before they become real issues for our sector. Issues all around social license. How do we make sure that we have a social license to operate? How do we maintain those social licenses to operate? How do we avoid things like nutrient runoff, soil erosion, and other issues that have plagued Tasmania in the past, like when you look at the forestry issue or what's happening with salmon at the moment. Big issues that are of concern whenever we start to intensify a system. We can do it better and we can get it right, but it requires a collective approach. The third area where TIA is quite active and good in is all around microbiology, food safety, and food innovation. It's that sort of consumer focus on functional value chain, value creation, and increasingly also in commercial opportunities where TIA can actively engage with companies. However, these 3 areas, whilst they're very important for agriculture, they leave some major gaps if we want to have a true portfolio approach to our business. This is related to the fact that those issues that I just talked about also involve things like food waste. It involves nutrition. It involves the fact that obesity has become a problem just as big as hunger in the world, and it's increasingly a problem particularly for developed economies like ours. That link between food production, processing, distribution, availability, and health is something that we need to address as a community rather than as individual disciplines. And universities are full of talented people, but often lack that sort of common sense of purpose of what actually draws them together. So today we are inviting our colleagues from right across the university to help us in filling those gaps. We invite them to engage with TIA in driving this bioeconomy for society agenda, and even take the lead in some of those components that require expertise that clearly sit outside of what TIA traditionally does. You will hear from every college and from every organizational group within my own college, the College of Science and Engineering, You will hear snippets about what might be possible in the future, where they might engage, what might be the bioeconomy for society that really matters for agriculture and food in Tasmania, and particularly here in Launceston. We will have a facilitated podium discussion that should elicit some of exciting responses from the participants, from the audience, and hopefully lead to a strong vision of where we can take this state, where we can take this community, and where we can take this university. We have a very challenging program ahead of us today. And many more things that I would like to say, but I hope that these sorts of things will come out during the discussions that we have as the day progresses. I think it is a really exciting program and a truly amazing opportunity for Tasmania, and I hope that you will enjoy the day. Thank you.